และประเทศถัดมานะคะ and here we come Australia
All right, it's one of the big favorites, Australia making their way. You can hear the crowd as well. They're excited to see the Aussies coming from down under.
Aussie, 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 watch out for these guys. I expect them to be big time. Last time they played here in 2019, they got 14th place. I am expecting a top 3 finish from them. With names like TGLTN, Flood, and Luke 12 on the roster that are household PUBG names, expect big numbers, but that's not all. Monty, one of the biggest up-and-coming players out of Australia, and the idea that these players have played together for years. It's easy to go, oh, Monty's new to this, but he's not. He's been playing for more than 5 years. He's played with these guys. They know each other's style, and I expect them to perform out of their minds.
As you can see, they're having fun with the crowd. They're taking the shoes off. The shoey goes down. Amazing scenes here from Thailand.
Without further ado, let's go straight in to game number 1.
Australia, I gotta say, if you did not pick them, you should be pretty worried. As you saw coming in, even whenever we're looking at the country intros, doing like the combined shoey together, these guys have been playing together for so long. This is a highly synergized squad.
They're so in sync that they had the excessive energy to make a choreography for the intro show. I mean, that's how much energy they've got. They're bringing to this. Luke getting himself looted on up, of course, far up north side. Not the furthest rotation for them to make, but then again, I mean, we're coming into, they only had so many scrims against one another. So as good as you might be as individuals, as one team, it's the do we know what we're running into? Do we know what to expect from every single opposing team? And with the amount of games they've had to play against one another, I would say no. You have ideas, you have just ideas, but with the tricky playing path, with the tricky circle to start things off, it's going to be a guessing game for much part of it.
Canada now having to hold up against Australia, who's coming in from multiple angles.
Calling the bluff here, realizing it's not going to be full teams by any chance. No way 4 people are sitting in there. Australia calling it early. They are committed to this one. Nice nade, no damage found though. Flood had the right floor, but unfortunately wall blocking off the damage.
Doing a good job of holding out right now. Canada having to dodge all the Molotovs that are coming in. Keenan has gotten hit, and it's just going to be slow and still attacked up, but Keenan does manage to drop a nade right on top of TGLTN. Pushes now, starting to come through. It's going to be a knock on the other side of it. Now Shinboy trying to find the angle for it. Does get knocked, and that's going to be the end of that fight.
Back to back, you say that, but look at this Canada coming in. The cavalry is arriving a little late, and I think it's going to be too late for it to happen. Fortunate for Australia here. TGLTN got knocked way out of the compound. He was in the open, and fortunately, there was no response from Canada fast enough to kind of come and help out. An issue now being the position that the remaining 2 split players from Canada went from has now been taken over by Finland. So fast in response, and Canada essentially has nowhere to play from now.
And now we're looking at hillside. That's just going to be all kinds of violence on Australia's side. It's going to be Brazil making the push into that. Just few options. They have to come in through here. UK is pretty close, but they really can't do too much on their angle that they're playing from. So this is really about, can the 3 for Australia hold back whatever Brazil is trying to bring?
Look at the utility on the Australian side. I mean, they had that early fight against 2 of the players from Canada, but other than that, they've been sitting tight on the north side of the circle. Still got plenty of vest, plenty of utility, helmet, all in good standing here. Only 1 nade from Monty. There's 2 players down behind the rock just below. He finds a perfect nade here. That's 2 out of Brazil in an instant.
Oh, there we go. Luke does drop the nade on top of Haven. He's going to go down. The other members are spotted. Oh, and there goes the vehicle as well. Deny anything. Circle does pot UK's favor as well as this firefight. That means Australia can stretch down into this. They need to make a move in. Taking the shots in, and Brazil finding themselves in some trouble. But VHZ does get a knock onto Luke in retaliation.
And not until now is Finland going to be forced to make the play out here. If they read this right, if they know the fight on the hilltop is going on right now, that is where you push. You go up, you claim control, you're taking out Soul, continuing. They are playing from a shack, and they're still finding knocks across the map.
Leans out, gets some damage in. That's going to buy more time for Australia to get the reses that they need. Finland's got a free path into this, really.
Yeah.
Here's my thing. We saw Korea fight their way out of a no-win situation. They shouldn't have got out of that.
Multiple times
Finland,
already.
Finland is looking at them, and they have control on this. And by every regard, Korea should die here. But I mean, what miracle can Korea try to make here? They've got to cross a road that's going to be just full-on open terrain. They know it. Finland's prepped on it, throwing it in, and it's going to be Brazil on the other side. Double teaming up into it now. Finland trying to make the run in. Are we going to see LFP make the push into Australia, or is it going to be just enough to distract? A couple of shots are coming out from him, and now it's going to be Finland looking down into Brazil's direction as well.
Page falls down as Blood finds one. Damage
just
done
gets
towards
in
Finland. The rest should be possible here behind the rock. There's, again, Finland, plenty of utility to work with. Will have smokes up. Cover, circle moving in. Slow to HP for LFP. Can't find it. Wanted to, didn't happen. Brazil fall in fourth as the climb uphill begins for Finland and a potential win this game.
Here is the fight right now. UK is hiding out in their shack as they should be doing. They're just trying to survive, get as many points as they can. But Australia looking down at Finland. These two teams have owned opposite sides of this hillside for so long. Finland doing a great job in controlling everything to the west of Severny, moving in. Meanwhile, Australia has been walking their way through squads to try to find the right approach into this one, and now finds themselves looking down into Finland's approach.
This game ends on UK. I mean, this game literally ends
Yeah.
on their shack. You can see the mollies being thrown now. They knew there was going to be people around. Vard is prone outside, though. The X-ray might not give that away that easily. The outside, but Fader finally, Nate coming in from Diggory, finds one. Don't take anything for granted. You have the utility, use it wisely.
I love this. You can see that Finland is trying to use the shack to give them the cover to get into the circle and deny everything from Australia. Australia's trying to separate out, trying to find new angles, get the sprays in. Flood does get the knock on Mixie, and now it's getting a little bit spicy. Monty does go down as well, as it's going to be a full-on firefight. T-Bone caught in the middle of all of it, but it sprays every section of this map.
T-Bone still prone, dodging and weaving as best as it can as the nades continue to come in. 3 alive. Australia still with a chance to get a rest if they can find time to get it. T-Bone mollied up on forward. Do not want to allow for anyone to play this shack. Flood just exactly able to avoid the molly from behind. The other side, T-Bone spots one. Now they know there's one just on the other side of the car.
Going for the spray and finally does go down. United Kingdom is eliminated, but it's going to be full-on members finding it out. Flood going for the spray and 2 members of Finland on the opposite side trying to defend up. Are we going to see Australia on the side flank find the angles for it? They are trying so hard, but Diggory trying to hold it up, but it's going to be Flood that gets a knock on a page. Now, just Diggory up, finding on one side of it, sitting at 7 kills, but no! It's going to be Australia that picks up the first round.
Australia all the way from down under. And they grab themselves win number 1.
I mean, are you really that surprised that Australia managed to pick up the first round? This is a squad we were talking about that is just so ridiculously strong, and that's exactly how they want to play.
Leaderboard here, though.
That's right, big points coming in. Australia starting things off hot. They're used to the heat. It's hot here in Thailand, but 17 points go their way. Gentlemen, I'm getting word that we are ready for game number 2. So let's head over to the commentators once again. It's Erangel, the grassy pastures.
Australia feels like they've got a plan. This plan might be a problem, though, as if they roll into the same dip and they're going to find a whole bunch of bodies and vehicles that have been exploded there. Might stop them in their tracks. Finland now going to have to make their play back to the west, but while this is going on, Australia has just decided that the north is theirs, the east is theirs, everything that they can see is theirs, and UK, you're in a problem spot because Australia doesn't have a problem with where you're at and is perfectly fine with killing.
The issue for Australia is they can't really, I mean, even when they do get knocks, they can't make an aggressive play up that hillside, because once they start making the play up, I mean, Korea's going to have a perfect line of sight on them, and because Finland isn't really engaging in Korea right now, they don't have a whole lot to worry about. So for United Kingdom, as long as they're in up on that hillside, they should be all right. As I say that for Australia, can't sit tight on the southern side for too long, because here comes Finland.
This is the time to go. Finland timed this so well. The moment that one of the Australians went down, make the play into this one, and now also UK trying to fight their way a little bit more to the west. It's going to be Monty that goes down, and Michael. While we did see Australia holding this down very well, I just feel like there's too many targets, and that's just Australia picked apart.
Yeah.
Australia being the team that's making it very difficult for Finland to make any play right now as they're wanting to make some moves. Tiggleton is very far back for Team Australia, and that's giving him a lot of vision on what's happening in the previous circles. But now he's going to have limited vision into this one, so he's probably going to have to try to make a push. I wouldn't be surprised if Australia is predominantly focused on trying to cover him while this is going on. On the opposite side of that, Tiggleton says, I'm just going to go ahead and throw a Hail Mary nade. You never know if it's going to connect or not, and almost does.
Good nade lopped on forward, forcing Finnish players back down and healing. The issue is, as you saw there too, Takelton is well aware that he needs to worry about UK when he pushes forward. Now the vehicles are coming in for UK. They're just a little bit forward, just exactly sneaking their way inside the next circle, so they will be able to sit on the hill for a little while longer. But once we hit phase 8, just about a minute from now, they will have to come down. Takelton, one more nade in hand. They're sitting close to one another. There is still another one.
Oh, they walked into it!
First one to fall down, second one throw forward.
Oh my god, that's right up on top
Finds the second as well. Mexi goes down, Digger down to just 1 HP.
Oh, we can see Soul. Here's what's going on. Doing some of their own on the other side of it. Finish it off. What was that nade?
Nade damage. The name of the game for the first 2 matches here. What? Wow.
UK has got so much vision now in this backside of Korea going down, Finland going down. They can assert so much authority. Australia in some trouble. Another nade in the car line. Prevents any further damage. Out of UK, that bounce goes a little bit further though, but not going to scare him away. Just get some damage in. Luke 12, the last one.
Luke's got 5 crates to loot, and they never got to throw nades of their own. It's like, I'll find some more nades, and all UK can go, how many nades does this man have? Believe me, he still has 2 more crates to loot. He is not done throwing nades anytime soon.
Run back, pick up whatever he wants, throw it on the other side. Now, Seoul, Loki, still the moving factors for this one. Indonesia alive, but having to be much more quiet with everything that's happening. United Kingdom, seeing opportunities, sitting at 8 kills. They have a good chance to win this one, but there's some very strong teams still alive.
A lot of the same teams coming into the top of this one as Australia does fall down. Luke out of the equation.
22 points go over to the way of United Kingdom, but once again, Korea maybe low placement points, but heavy on those kill points here.
How you guys going? Let's go ahead and send it all in for game number 3, and hopefully it's gonna work.
Alrighty, match 3 underway. Erangel, our final Erangel game today. Miramar to follow afterwards. So we have an early engagement. A smash is going by as passenger. Monty can't land all of that damage. An amazing start for Monty from the APAC region of Team Bliss. He was finding knocks left, right, and center in match 1. And yet you go and look over towards, say, Walkout, and it's only the United States. Tigleton with the seat swap, and he, of course, it shouldn't even be a surprise, but it's Kian that gets back the other way. The down onto Blood goes for 1 onto Luke 12 as well from that passenger seat. So 1 for 1 between Japan and Australia here. Monty wants 1, but it's Tigleton, of course. Why not? The best player in the world gets 2. For the road, it's only Luna left for Japan.
Yeah, he's gonna have to run into this spot, and this is just damage control at this point. Tigleton just dominated Japan there, and that's gonna open up the door, get the reses. He's just roaming around, not a care in a
mini as well. He just doesn't care. Do they go for this though?
Just
they know
built
they've got the
different,
3 knocks. Korea, tremendous in the first 2 matches, but they go out early here in match 3 at the hands of our match 2 winners. Luna now has all of Australia in his face. Tig did get knocked down by Luna, but Luke 12, the Guardian, he gets the save. Japan out in 15th.
Fight now breaking out between everybody that's going to be going on in Finland and Australia.
And Tigleton down, gets flushed immediately. Nice nade from Monty, gets the elimination onto Finland. Yes, they lose Tigleton, but they get the kills for it. Now up into 2nd place for Team Australia as well. Still inside of the military base, needing to push their way forward.
This is a problem for USA. They are now pinched on so many angles. They've got Australia behind them. They've got Germany that's going to be to their southwest. They still have Argentina that's holding out on them. H1 spins around, takes down Flood. They are very aware of the threat that's coming, but it's just, how do you move out of this spot? Yeah. There's just so many teams.
It's a death run as well here for Australia. Far too open, far too many teams, like you mentioned as well. Sort of also being able to look in that direction for nothing. So no real surprise to see Australia really bowing out from that. They didn't quite get a lot of circle luck, kept going south, south, south.
Everybody in the lobby now breathing a sigh of relief as UK has at least 1 of their members down, sitting on a massive amount of kills already again. Australia's Luke seeing if maybe he can steal that one away, but he's just going to go ahead and go down to blue, and our top 4 now lined up.
And of course, as we take a lot of points coming in, 24 for United Kingdom, 17 for Brazil. But we haven't really talked too much about Australia, but we do need to talk about them. Double-digit points from this game. They were in a rough spot here, Martin, but Monty was able to do a lot whilst we took a look at VHZ, the player of the game. This is game number 4, and we're changing the map as we're heading over to Miramar.
Yeah, not just changing the map, also changing one of the casters. It's Paper Thin, making his debut here for PNT 2022. How are you, my friend?
I'm doing great, having a lot of fun so far, and Monty is just out of control right now, Xenox. I mean, you were talking him up before the tournament, and I wasn't Oh, that was a good return from Shiva, but I was kind of not against it, but man, he's really showing up to play today.
Yeah, he's been the king of knocks, it feels like. I think the next step is being able to get those converted either by himself or his teammates. In saying that, really, just getting that damage on the board, landing those shots would be great for his confidence. And speaking of picking up points, Monty finds the kill onto Duckmai of Vietnam. But you can see in the minimap just down below, and of course, from the POV there of China pushing onto Australia's position. Those two countries have been absolutely going at it in the stream. Australia usually coming out on top. They don't have Tickleton this time. Shots from behind, though, of Kian for Japan. So Australia, they are in the unfortunate position, Paper.
Yeah, this is now really, really tough because they're trying to get across this road, and they've got two teams on both sides of it hitting them from behind. So a grenade from Zipian is going to get the knock here. Xiao Lu looking to go for one of his own. He kind of knows that there's somebody in that smoke. There has to be. So he's going to go for it. It's actually on the other side of the hill. I don't think anybody's home for that one. So going to come up a bit short. And now Japan has to keep pushing up and over this hill, and that's going to put them in the sight lines of China.
And Finland pushing in as well behind Japan. So it's going to get worse for them. So for both Japan and Australia, this is not a fight that is going to bode well for either team. Australia 5 kills this game, at least getting the job done there, but you do feel like their time being alive coming to an end. And China, they are looking like they're just starting to roar, Paper. They're just starting to find their feet here at the PUBG Nations Cup. 7 kills, but here come the Finns on the other side. It's Flood, though, with the nade onto Zipyan from the grave.
I mean, this is a little bit of an ambitious maneuver here from China. They're looking to kind of take some of the loot from the crates of the downed Australian team, and instead they're just getting absolutely hammered by Finland now.
Huge points coming in here from this game for Finland as they get themselves 26 on the board, trying to catch up with the United Kingdom at the top.
They had 20 points going into this, or just 26 from this one game with 20 from the first 3. That's fantastic.
And
fantastic step up.
All right, we're ready to get into it, guys. The last game of the day, Miramar.
Woo!
I think maybe for real this time. Let's do it.
Let's go. Let's get into it. I am just way too excited. Match 5, our final game of the day here for the PUBG Nations Cup.
This is going to be tough now for Team Thailand. As happy as I am to see that big moment for them, they're going to have to battle a couple of different teams. They're going to have to make a cross against some dangerous terrain. Meanwhile, somehow Australia has recovered. They still have all 4 up, and now they're getting knocks onto Chinese Taipei.
They have to push it. They have to wipe out Chinese Taipei, then push into El Pozo. Brazil finally on the move. Malroch and Yan Li meeting the demise courtesy of the nade of Luke 12. That should be enough for Australia to find the kills. They spot the last player of Chinese Taipei and surely cannot make it out alive. Savior falls to Monty. It's 11th for Chinese Taipei, and it's Brazil pushing onto Thailand, and they are going to make quick work of the duo. Brazil, Finland, Australia, Vietnam, even maybe the likes of Canada, Indonesia, to really rack up the points, close out the day, and close that gap to the United Kingdom.
I'm really curious about this rotation here from Australia, trying to get on the other side of these vehicles. Now there's like not enough of a plateau.
That's not it! Unfortunately for Australia, it hasn't quite worked out for them. They had a tough track, didn't they? Up north, Circle didn't help them out, and they fall quickly. But honestly, what's worse is they're feeding a direct competitor in Brazil, who now move up into 2nd place on the overall standings.
The way that Brazil is maneuvering themselves, making their timings, when they cross that street, they hit it at the perfect time. Vietnam had left. Thailand was trying to get there. They were able to cut that off. Yeah, no, he can't, because he'll stand up. Yeah, you'll see him if you try to res here, because you'll be on your, high enough that you peek up over the edge of that bus.
No smokes. I wonder, can Flood crawl over and drop off whatever he's got? Now, Brazil, I've seen them in the past make some crazy car plays at PUBG Nations Cup. Didn't work out well for them last time. Hopefully, they don't have the same thing happen this time. Haven goes for a wrapping position out west. Now, he's a solid player. If he gets knocked, he's dead.
Yeah, I was going to ask, is Duckman's in the crowd? No, this is a great maneuver here by Brazil. This road here, I was going to talk about this if the circle kept more of the road in it, but it didn't. If you come from actually the west to the east, you have great overwatch, and you're seeing right from Haven's perspective.
2 things. Tiggleton is in. Haven is not. So does Haven just go back? I think that's the play. He has to probably go straight back to Brazil and then pushing across the road, go and maybe onto the building of Vietnam.
Crash this. No, I'm kidding. You shouldn't do that. I'm totally joking. I mean, he might do it. It's PNC, go big or go home. But no, absolutely, he should rotate back to his team. You need to group up as 4 at this point in the circle. It's C7. You just got to work with your team and try to make this go. I remember where they finished at 2019.
Exactly. Nade. Oh, Tiggleton. Hello. He gets the knock onto Page as he
have a way to impact this? I think he will. Shimboy steals it. Nate, though, lands from Glories onto the head of VHC, and at the same time, Tiggery got Finna. It's all kicking off between all 6 teams. Somehow, Tiggleton gets to the top 3 for Australia, Vietnam, and then Finland. Lo and behold, of course, it's our same top 6 sort of kind of teams that we've had all tournament long. Now, down to Vietnam and Finland here for the standoff of our final game of day 1.
Well, Finland, top place for this game. 22 points go their way, and Vietnam, as well as Brazil and Canada, double digit on the board. And there you go, let's take a look at the overall top leaderboard then, as we now have UK knocked off their perch for the first time here throughout the day, and Finland will be walking home with technically the day win. But again, there are 15 more matches here to work out, Martin, but this leaderboard to start things off, a little bit spicy here and there.